we doing, everybody? And welcome into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Friday. Finally Friday. A fantastic Friday here in the great state of Wisconsin, or wherever you are listening right now. I hope it's a great day wherever you are. We know Hurricane Debbie is currently heading up the East Coast right now. So hopefully, if you're listening out there, hopefully you are staying clear of any of the severe stuff. Everything is okay on your end. Prayers to anybody who's impacted by Hurricane Debbie. I wish they would come up with some better names for hurricanes. You know, like Debbie. Like, you hear Debbie, and it's like, am I supposed to be scared of this thing, right? Or am I supposed to be hungry, right? Little Debbie cakes. I don't know. You know, you don't know how to feel when you got Hurricane Debbie coming at you. I feel like, Hurricane Karen, like, this thing's an angry son of a gun coming in, right? That's what they tell me, right? That's what they tell me. So, anyways, hopefully everybody along that East Coast is safe and out of harm's way there. But like I always say, it's a great Friday, great day to talk sports here. I got Autumn with me. Autumn, we're getting ready for the weekend. How we doing on this great Friday?
I'm doing really good, Trage, and I am excited that it's Friday, and I am excited for the weekend ahead.
A great weekend ahead there. We'll be down at the Clark County Fair down there in Neillsville, Wisconsin. So make sure you get yourself down there, see the animals, ride some rides. I don't know, the demolition derby is going to be happening. Lots of great stuff happening down at the Clark County Fair. So get yourself there. But lots of good stuff happening in the world of sports. Not just this week, because we got lots to talk about the week, but the weekend ahead here. We got the Packers coming up this weekend against the Browns. We have the Brewers having another series coming up this weekend here with the Reds. Lots of good stuff to get into today. But right away, I want to start with the Badgers. I want to start with the Badgers football team. And I saw a list. ESPN did a list of teams that are for sure locks in the Big Ten, pretenders in the Big Ten, that kind of thing for the college football playoff. So I wanted to go through that list. I wanted to give my contenders, pretenders, and, well, they just think Big Ten teams heading into this next season here. So looking at the ESPN list. Now, the ESPN list, these first two, they're kind of givens, right? You have Ohio State as the should-be-in number one. Ohio State. Makes sense. Makes sense there. In that number two spot, we see Oregon coming in there in that number two. Dan Lanning has done a very good job with Oregon. Now they get Dylan Gabriel in the room. I could see Oregon being the number two team in the Big Ten. I really could. So we jump down to the teams that they have in the running right now. Penn State is in the running, as they say. Drew Aller coming in. He's playing quarterback for them there. They're going to have good quarterback play, I believe. I think it's going to hinge on what does defense give them and the playmakers around, right? And can James Franklin actually figure out how to coach for a year? Can he figure out how to win a big game, right? Because they have a lot of big games on the schedule. So can he figure that one out? Michigan, that's a juggernaut for me. They did lose, like we know. J.J. McCarthy gone, right? And Corum gone. Also, Jim Harbaugh gone. Michigan, to me, in the running, that could change. That could change fast. I am interested to see what Michigan looks like now without Jim Harbaugh in the room. USC, I could see them stinking. I really could. I could see that USC team being pretty pitiful to start the year. So USC, Lincoln Riley's still there. This is still a solid team. Looks like Deontay Lynn is going to be on the staff there. They have a solid. They're solid, but to put them in there as in the running, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Wisconsin comes in as a long shot. They have them in there as a long shot right now to make the 12-team college football playoff. Luke Fickell, he's had, a year of experience with these guys now. The air raid offense has kind of been working in. 7-6 in his debut season. They have a pretty, like I say, you like to say a favorable slate, right? They play Penn State, Alabama. They have Oregon on the schedule. I'm missing another. USC. USC is also on the schedule. if you can sneak out 2 of those wins and win the games that you should, right? The Iowa game, if you win that one, if you beat Minnesota, if you Northwestern, if you beat the teams that you should, Nebraska, you win 2 of the games against Alabama, Oregon, USC, and Penn State. Say you win 2 of them. You end that season with 2 losses. You get yourself into a good spot. The Badgers are now jumping spots, right? They're jumping spots. They're in the running look then. So I don't know. In the running to me, you could almost slot the Badgers in there. There's a lot of unknowns with Wisconsin, but I mean, the schedule's favorable. Tyler Van Dyke's coming in. I do like what I see out of Tyler Van Dyke. And the defense, I mean, you look at the secondary. That's a pretty good secondary. Hallman and Wooler both coming back. They have some good transfers coming in there on the defensive side of the ball in Poose. Poose I believe he came from William and Mary there on the edge. Peterson on the edge also there. Barton up the middle. I mean, that's a solid defense for Wisconsin. And look at the offense. You have a couple of good running backs there. Dillian Jones coming in he's a freshman, but pretty good production I expect out of him. And then Ches Malusi coming back in the backfield there. Good offensive line. I think they're going to have a good offensive line. And in the wide receiver room, like we've talked about, Bryson Green, Will Pauling, you have some good pieces. Can they put them all together? Wisconsin's my in-betweener in the Big Ten. I think it can go 2 ways. I think they could be a team that has, at the end of the year, 2 losses on the schedule, and I could see them as a team who only wins 8 or 9 games, right? I could see it every which way possible right now. So it's really tough to gauge this Badger team because there's a lot of unknowns with Wisconsin, and I can't wait to see them out in the field. They have, I believe, their last of their training camp is coming up this weekend, and they're preparing for that game against Western Michigan on August 30th when they open up Big Ten play. I believe that's like an 8:20 start for that game I think it's on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's on a Friday they open up. So kind of a weird time, just all kinds of weird with that one there. But I mean, that's where looking at where I would have the Big Ten kind of slated right now, I kind of agree with the top 2. Ohio State, Oregon, those would be your top 2 in the Big Ten. In the running for me, like I said, I mean, Penn State's in there, Michigan's in there. I'm not putting USC in there until I see it without Caleb Williams. I'm not putting USC in there. I don't trust that defense. I don't trust Lincoln Riley and his staff to be able to put a defense together to play with the big dogs in the Big Ten. So I'm putting USC on the outside. I'm putting them in that in the long shot ranking there. I saw a lot of Fox Sports analysts putting Rutgers up. I don't know what they have with Rutgers right now, but I'm not seeing Rutgers putting anything together in that facet. I would say right now the Big Ten is split up into 3 quadrants. Right, you have your 2 top teams, which I believe will be Oregon and Ohio State. You have your second tier, which I believe right now is ran by Penn State and Michigan. UCLA is going to have a solid team too, but I just don't see UCLA in there. And Washington, they have a lot to replace. I don't know if Washington's going to be up there, so I don't include Washington in that. So I have Penn State and Michigan in there. The third tier for me, that includes USC, Wisconsin, Washington, UCLA. You could even say Iowa's in there, Nebraska's in there. Just that they're right on the cusp of being in that second tier, but they're still on that outside looking in. Now, I believe that's going to be some movement there. The top 2 I don't think are going to change much, but that second tier to third tier, I'm going to see, like I said, Wisconsin, I could see them jumping up into that second tier teams. I could see if USC somehow puts some kind of defense together, I could see them jumping up to that second tier. UCLA, I believe they're going to have a solid team out there. So UCLA might be a team to jump out into there. Washington, you never know, right? DeBoer is gone down in Alabama now. And you lost Michael Penix and you lost Roma Dunze. How do you replace that production on the offensive side of the ball? That's going to be something we got to watch out for playing in the Big Ten now, right? The defense for Washington, they played pretty well against Michigan, but Michigan was able to outlast them there. How does that defense look now? That's going to be the question marks there with Washington. There's a lot of question marks with Washington right now. That's where my third tier is there's a lot of question marks with USC, with Wisconsin, with like I was just talking there in Washington, there's a lot of question marks across that board. So how does it look when we get into things? I think that's going to be something that I can't wait to watch. I cannot wait for college football to be back. I saw Jelly Roll he's got the anthem for college football now. I saw that now. Jelly Roll. Okay. I guess so. Maybe. I don't know. I saw it. If you haven't seen it yet, look it up. Jelly Roll. It was on the Pat McAfee show, I believe. They did the full intro. They debuted it on there. So interesting stuff in that one there. But like I was saying before, the Packers will be in action coming up this weekend here, taking on the Cleveland Browns in the opening preseason game. We saw the preseason actually open up. It was last night there. I saw a couple games. Patriots and Panthers were playing. Giants and Lions were playing. I mean, not much to really talk about in those two facets. But Packers will be opening up Saturday, 3:25 start for that one on NFL Network, NFL Plus. I believe there. Otherwise, local TV may have them for you. Maybe pop out the antenna. I don't know. You might be able to get to watch them there. But a good game there. I'm expecting a good game. We will see Jordan Love. Now, I thought that was interesting, but if you look at what Matt LaFleur had to say, he said, I think just going through kind of reevaluating the last couple years from when we've had guys not play and last year having all the guys play, I thought it was beneficial for us early on, especially week one, just to kind of knock some of the rust off. I think there are a lot of value of going through, getting your mind right to get ready to play football. Obviously, we're going to be smart with those guys. The last thing we want to do is put those guys at risk. I mean, there's an inherent risk, right? Every time you go out on the field, but we'll be smart with it. But at the same time, I do think just the preparation of getting ready for a game is invaluable, and why not use those opportunities? I agree with that. Getting your feet wet, getting guys out on the field, and we know if Jordan Love's playing, the offensive line's playing, right? We're going to see Rasheed Walker. We're going to see Elton Jenkins. We're going to see, like Matt LaFleur said, anybody who's healthy, right? The healthy starters will be playing. Josh Jacobs will be a question mark in that one. I do expect to see. Honestly, I think it's going to be a drive. Maybe a drive or two, but I think two is stretching it. I'm going to say a drive. We're going to see Jordan Love. We're going to see the main offense out there. We're going to see probably A.J. Dillon in that one. We're going to see Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, those guys for a drive. And then I think they take care. I would think they pull most of it. They pull the plug on most of those guys and get some of the second stringers in there. Clifford will probably go out. We'll see Heath in there. We'll see Torrey. We'll probably see Bo Melton in there a little bit more. I don't expect the starters to stay in there long, especially because it's week one of the preseason. But, I mean, I'm excited. We're going to see the number one offense, the number ones on Saturday. Can't wait to get back into some football here because, man, oh man, have we missed it. We've missed it. It's been, the dog days of summer. You just got baseball going on. It's one of those times of year where all you got to really talk about is baseball. You got the tidbits here and there about some Packer news, some Badger news, that kind of thing, Buck news maybe going on. But finally, back into some football here. So great stuff there. Going to see some Packers taking on the Browns coming up on Saturday there, 3:25 start. I don't think we'll see Jordan Morgan, and I don't think we'll see Tucker Kraft. I think those two will sit out. Zach Tom might be a question mark. He just returned to practice. He might be a question mark, but if he feels ready to go, I think we will see Zach Tom out there for the Packers, kind of getting that offensive line going. Sean Ryan has done well. Out there for Green Bay. Rasheed Walker is still, we watched him last year. He's solid. He's solid in there. Elton Jenkins, like we know. I expect the Packers, like I said, most starters will play. Most starters on both sides of the ball. I think we'll see Rashawn Gary. I think we'll see Jair Alexander. Whoever, McKinney will be out there. I believe anybody who's healthy, both sides of the ball, we will see them week one. And then from there, I think it's a question mark. Will we see them week 2 of the preseason? I don't know about that one. I think he just wants to knock the rust off, see what it looks like. Maybe if it doesn't look good, if it looks kind of goofy, maybe we will see them out there week 2 or possibly week 3 of the preseason just for a final tune-up before we get into the regular season here. So good stuff there. Coming up this weekend, other action happening in the NFL over the weekend. Texans and Steelers, they play today here. They're going to play today. Falcons and Dolphins play today. Eagles and Ravens will play today. Saturday, Packers, Browns, Commanders, Jets, Bears, Bills, Raiders and Vikings, Buccaneers and Bengals, Chiefs and Jaguars, 49ers and Titans, Seahawks and Chargers, Saints and Cardinals. And then on Sunday, it will be the Broncos and the Colts, and then the Cowboys and the Rams will be the second one. So there is your opening week slate of the preseason. It is great. Football is back. But with that, before we move on here, I want to get to some sponsors of the show here quick. First, Game Day Supply in Alaska. Do you have a sports glove or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply in Alaska to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville, Wisconsin. Marshfield Motor Speedways, located just 3 miles outside of Marshfield on County Road H. Get down there this summer. Tons of family fun still to be had down there. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. Nothing better than a great summer day or night down at the track. Marshfield Motor Speedways there. Your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy Sue or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. Sports Scene, Sports Cards, and Memorabilia, located in the Marshfield Mall in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Get down there, see Al. He has everything you need, from sporting cards, memorabilia, jerseys, model stock cars. He's got it all. Sports Scene in Marshfield. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. If you've been injured recently, whether it was at work, whether you're mowing the lawn, playing with kids, whatever you were doing, you were hurt, you felt something pop, tear, whatever it was, you don't know what it was, you went to your doctor, they said you should see a physical therapist. Stop in there and see Chad at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. He'll get you right. He'll get you back to work, back mowing the lawn, back playing with the kids, feeling better than ever. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin there. But with that, we got to get to Autumn with Autumn's tidbits of the day.
Some short and sweet tidbits today. Jackson Chourio from the Milwaukee Brewers passes Hank Aaron for the youngest Milwaukee player to have a 2-home run game and became the first in the MLB to accomplish this before his 21st birthday. Jackson Holliday is the youngest player in the American League history to homer in 3 straight games. And also in the headlines is our oldest Chapman threw a 104.7 miles per hour fastball last night, leaving even Manny Machado speechless. I kind of looked to see who was the fastest, like who has the record for it. He also holds the record for the fastest pitch ever thrown back in 2010 at 105.8 miles per hour. And moving out of baseball into some NFL, former Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles from the Philadelphia Eagles announced his retirement from the NFL.
Some great tidbits right there. Jackson Chourio right now, I just tweeted it before, but it is a crime that he is not on list for the Rookie of the Year. I don't understand how he's not on a list at this point. I really don't. If we want to look at Paul Skeens and we put him in the All-Star game over like a month or a month and a half, maybe 2 of, he's pitching well. I'm not saying Paul Skeens isn't pitching well. Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. But Jackson Chourio in the last 2 months has lit the world on fire. And yet we don't talk about him in any Rookie of the Year conversations. That is a crime. That is a crime, and we need to have this thing figured out because it is ridiculous in that standpoint there. Jackson Holliday, great to see he's finally doing something with the Orioles. Came up, was kind of a dud, went back down, came back up. Apparently he plays some arcade game. Autumn, could you find the arcade game that Jackson Holliday plays for? They said that it contributed to his hitting. I don't know how, but he plays some arcade game. Who had it? Somebody had it in their clubhouse, and he was able to play
It's called Golden Tee.
Golden Tee. It's a golf game, isn't it?
I think so.
Apparently, he's pretty darn good at it. And I can't remember if it was who they were playing when they had it in the clubhouse there.
The Guardians.
Guardians, there we go. Cleveland Guardians. They had it in the clubhouse. He ended up playing it, ended up hitting a home run that game. And apparently it's helped with his hand-eye. It's helped with everything. It helped him relax, be more confident. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. That is the definition of whatever you got to do to make it work. Excuse me there. But awesome stuff there. The number one prospect in baseball, finally hitting. Finally hitting, right? Aroldis Chapman, we've known this guy throws gas. I didn't know he still had that much in the tank, right? I mean, he, like Autumn said there, I mean, back in the day, threw the fastest pitch that's been recorded. Now we see this still out of him. I mean, he dotted 2. You know, Autumn mentioned the one there. I'm pretty sure it was 2 in a row. He dotted he had 104 twice. I don't know if it clocked in at 104.7. They rounded up, so the one clocked in 105, and the one before it probably clocked in 104. But he chucked 2 straight to Manny Machado that were just complete gas there, so that's impressive stuff. Aroldis still giving her, still got the hot stuff. And Nick Foles, I mean, basically did absolutely nothing to get to the Super Bowl and then won a Super Bowl MVP. Like, Carson Wentz was the quarterback, Nick Foles was just there. Carson Wentz gets hurt, Nick Foles jumps in, win the Philly special, wins the Super Bowl, gets the MVP. Good for Nick Foles. Good for Nick Foles there. That's great stuff. That's great stuff there for Nick Foles, somehow making it in there. But in NBA news, well, you had a little bit of MLB there. Just an MLB tidbit. The White Sox finally got rid of Pedro Grifol. So great stuff. I mean, you lost 21 straight games. At some point, something's got to change, right? I mean, you might suck, but there's levels to sucking. 21 straight losses. There's the level that you need to, something needs to change. So they let go of their manager. Well, not really breaking news, right? We kind of expected something like that. Now we got it. I'm surprised Lou Bob just hasn't quit. If I was Lou Bob, I would just quit. I would just walk away. I'd just be like, dude, I'm quitting baseball. I might be still under contract, but I'm quitting. I'm walking away. I'll go play handball in the Olympics for all I care. I don't want to deal with this. So there's your MLB tidbit right there. In NBA talk, Serbia was actually kicking the crap out of the United States for about, I don't even know what you would say. Like, I mean, imagine the Packers 49ers game, divisional round last season. Outside of 2 minutes, Packers had it in hand. Outside of 5 minutes, Serbia had it in hand. And the United States was carried back. They actually had a 32-15 comeback there. Steph Curry, Curry was phenomenal. 36 points for him. One shy of actually the American Olympic record for men's basketball held by Carmelo Anthony. That's about the only thing Carmelo Anthony has to his name is this record, right? Hasn't really done anything else. He's just got this to his name. So that's great stuff. Great stuff. I mean, an outstanding game by Curry. Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton did not play in the game. Doesn't surprise me, right? I believe that was the game Tatum didn't play before, but that was because Serbia has such a big front line that Tatum didn't play last time. I think, as we know, Steve Kerr likes to work matchups. He knows you have a lot of stars. Some guys will not play. We heard this many times. There's a lot of stars on that team. So Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton do not play in this game. I saw the memes out there. I saw a meme, and it was a chair with like a sweat stain on it. It said Jason Tatum's highlight reel from this game against Serbia. And it was like, I just laughed. I was like, I didn't get it right away, right? Because I didn't look at the box of this game. I wasn't able to watch, right? I didn't look at the box of this game. And then I saw the meme and I was like, oh God, he didn't play again, right? So then I went and looked at the box, did not play. So Team USA will actually have France now on Saturday in a rematch of the 2020 Olympic final? 2021?
According to ESPN.
Isn't it every 4 years?
I just went off ESPN.
ESPN's either lying to us or I'm confused. One of the two there. But they will face France in a rematch of the last Olympic final there. We're going to see a very good matchup. A very good matchup. France has got a very good team put together right now. And the U.S., they're flying, but Serbia almost knocked them out. So this is going to be a star-studded matchup when it comes to the final here in the Olympics for the gold medal. Can the United States bring home a gold medal? We'll wait and see. I'm expecting the women's to bring home a gold medal. I would honestly think Ionescu would have to they would have to poison the entire team for them not to win that. So I imagine the women's will bring home the gold. Can the men's bring home the gold here on Saturday? We cannot wait to find out. I'll probably be watching the Packers, if anything, but we will wait and find out here together. So with that, we got to get over to Autumn. Autumn's got our fact of the day.
The fact of the day is a blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as a young elephant. Another weird fun fact with that is that an adult elephant can even fit on the tongue of a blue whale.
She always comes with some weird facts of the day right there. How much does the average baby elephant weigh? Like, I need to know. Like, you just gave me a generic, like, weighing as much as a baby elephant. I've seen a baby elephant. I don't know how much it weighs. An adult elephant can even fit on the tongue of a blue whale. That's a big tongue.
Yeah. Elephants weigh at birth 200 to 250 pounds.
The tongue of this thing weighs about 250. About 250. Probably a bigger one would probably be about 300. That's a big old liquor. That's a big old liquor on that thing. That's all I know. Wowza. That is a big old tongue. Man. Oh man. Can you? Wow. That's crazy. That's craziness right there. That was a great fact of the day. I don't think anybody out there would have known that. If they hadn't heard it here. If they hadn't heard it here first. So, with that, we got to get some Brewer talk. The Brewers. I mean, man, oh man. Autumn's over here telling us the other day that they need their big bats to show up. We need the big bats, right? The big bats broke it out in Atlanta. They swept the Braves, and this was the craziest stat I saw. I saw a lot of crazy stats coming out of that series. But the Braves were swept at home for the first time since May 11th through the 13th in 2021. That's a lot of baseball. That's a lot of baseball that's been played since then. First time they've been swept at home since 2021 in May. That's a long time. So that is impressive in its own right there. But we see a lot of other stats coming out of this one here. The Brewers, they scored 34 runs in the series. 34 runs in a three-game series. 21 of those runs came with 2 outs. A lot of the runs in Brewers game 3 of the series came with 2 outs, but 21 of those runs come with 2 outs in the inning. That's wild. That's wild there. And they had 52 hits in the 3-game sweep. 52 hits in a 3-game sweep. That's a lot of offense. We got to get into the offense. That happened in this series. So, as we know, 10-0, they won game 1. We talked about that game a little bit. Game 2, that was the 8-5 finish there. We saw Freddie go in that one for the Brewers. A good outing out of Freddie. I don't know, Autumn. You be the judge here. 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run given up. I don't know if you call that a good outing by Freddie. I think you call that an average outing.
I'd say average.
That's an average outing by Freddie. But the bats picked him up. The bullpen was solid. I mean, you look at the bullpen there. An inning out of Mears there. 0s across the board with 2 strikeouts. Pyamps for an inning, 1 strikeout. Koenig for an inning there, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Devin Williams for an inning there, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts in his appearance. So that earned run, not a good one there. Gave up a home run. But outside of that, got it done. 8-5 finish for the Brewers in that one. 16 hits in that game there. Looking at the bats for the Brewers, Chourio, 3 for 5 in the leadoff spot. Hoskins goes 3 for 5. Sanchez, 2 for 5. 1 for 6 for Contreras. And then we see Ortiz go 3 for 4. Perkins, 3 for 5. The offense was flowing. I mean, 6 for 22 with runners in scoring position. You just always want to see that number higher. But 6 for 22 is nothing to shake your head at either. 14 guys left on base. Maybe you want to see some guys. You want to see a little bit more of a lower number in that category. But 16 hits, 14 guys left on base. There's a lot of guys getting on base there. So you got to put that one into perspective in that game there. And they were able to get to, in that game, they were able to get to Chris Sale and chase him early in this game. 4 2/3, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, but they chased Chris Sale out of there, and then they got to the bullpen. 3 runs against Johnson there coming out of the bullpen, and then 2 runs against Dodd late in this one in his 2 innings of work there. So Brewers get it done game 2, and that led up to the big series finale there, going for the sweep, right? 16-7. 16-7. They had 20 hits. 20 hits in that one there. Autumn, I mean, you had your big performers in that one. Who were you looked at that game. Who were the big performers you saw in that game for the Brewers taking on the Braves there in game 3 of that series?
Yeah, some of the big performers I saw was Contreras, who went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Sal Frelick was 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and Garrett Mitchell, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs.
It was a big game. We saw, Chourio went deep twice in the game. That already tells you you're setting yourself up for great stuff. Chourio's got that batting average up to 277. Now, you say that, it's like 277, that's not that great. You got to put it into perspective where this guy started. We're talking about a guy who was down in the 240, 250 range at some point here. He's hitting 429 over the last 7 games. 394 over the last 15, and over the last 30 games, 352. 352 over the last 30 games there. He has 6 home runs over the last 30 games. 5 in the last 15 and 2 over the last 7 games there. Man, oh man. That's what I'm saying. It's a crime that you're not talking about this guy for Rookie of the Year. This is completely lights out stuff in the last month or 2. For Jackson Chourio. Man, it is something. You listen to Pat Murphy, he calls him Jack Jack. That's his nickname, is Jack Jack. And you listen to Pat Murphy talk about him, and this is a guy who, everybody talked about early on, what's going on with Jackson Chourio. It doesn't seem right now, and this is supposed to be his top prospect. A lot of people calling it for him to be sent down. I was even, considering it myself, was saying that, hey, maybe sending him down wouldn't be the worst thing. Get him some at-bats, get him right, bring him back, right? It's like Pat Murphy said, it's a simple game, but it's complex, right? It's simple. Bat the ball, hit the ball. It's simple, right? It seems simple, but it's a confidence thing then. It's putting yourself in the right positions. It's everything like that. And that's where Jackson Chourio, I believe, has progressed the most, is his confidence, his, understanding of the game, his getting used to the game, getting used to the speed of it, getting used to some of these better pitchers. He has done fantastic getting to this point. So I love that. Jackson Chourio, a great game. Mitchell goes deep in this game for the Brewers. Fantastic. Contreras goes deep. Chourio goes deep. I believe Adames went deep in this one. Bowers goes deep in this one. Wow. Just wow. This Brewers team is Autumn, you got something?
I think Adames, I saw, was at 20 home runs this season.
20 home runs. It's like, you want to knock Adames, right? Because the average doesn't look great. But 20 home runs, leads his team in RBIs, gets the job done, plays a good shortstop, great at times at shortstop. It's hard to completely put this guy's game and say that you could live a day without him. The guy that to me, people don't talk about enough. I have 2 guys right now. Number 1 is Sal Frelick. Not a lot of people are talking about Sal Frelick. Over the last 7 games, he's hitting 381. Over the last 15, he's hitting 277. right? Over the last 30 games, he's batting .284 over the last 30 games. Not a lot of people are talking about Sale. I think a lot of people need to start looking at Sale because Sale he doesn't do the big things, right? He doesn't get the extra base hits. He doesn't hit the long ball, right? That's what people love to watch. They love to see that. Jackson Chourio going deep. That's great. Everything's great with that. I'm not knocking anything that those guys are doing, but Sal Frelick is doing the little things, right? Putting the ball in play through the left side, whatever he's got to do to get himself on base. It's an underappreciated kind of thing that Sal Frelick is doing for this team right now. Stolen bases, I mean, the Brewers aren't stealing as many bases as what they were at one point. Now, some of that has to do with, you look at Bryce Terang hasn't been getting on as much. Bryce Terang was a big catalyst in the stolen bases. So the Brewers getting back to that, I think that's going to be huge. I think that'll be a big thing for this Brewers team moving forward, is putting pressure on opposing pitchers like that. They haven't been doing it as much as of late. I can't really knock it in the Braves series, right, because they got the job done. But I'd love to see the Brewers start to get more aggressive on the base paths once again there. But you look at Mitchell, you look at Churro. I thought the coolest two things that I saw in those 2 home runs was the pitch before it. They tried to lay down a bunt, and they failed, right? I mean, Jackson Chourio fouled his off. I believe Mitchell did too. Next pitch, or even it might have been a couple pitches later, but Churrio's was next pitch. I know that goes yard, right? I love that. Was it designed that way? No, it wasn't designed that way. But they tried something, didn't work. They got back at it. They had the confidence, like, okay, I saw that pitch now. I fouled it off. I'm going to step back in there. I'm going to do my thing. Gone. You got to love that. You got to love that there. But an underlying guy that not a lot of people are talking about, and I think it's going to be hard to get this guy out of the lineup. Eric Hayes has done impressive things with the Brewers this season. Is he flashy? No. He's not a big flashy guy like Contreras. He's not not a real big, but, a name like Gary Sanchez. But Eric Hayes, in 36 at-bats, he's hitting .333, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, and he always seems to put the ball in play and do good things for the Brewers when he plays. I know Sanchez is back. You have Contreras, right? I would just hate to send Eric Hayes down because, well, you have to designate him for assignment. You don't have any more options on Hayes. So the second you send him down, teams have, it's free market then. And I believe another team's going to come in and swoop him up. I would hate to lose Eric Hayes in that way because I believe he could be a good bat off the bench for the Brewers. So what do you do then, right? Do you keep 3 catchers? That could get a little crazy. It all hinges on, I guess, if Christian Yelich comes back. I think it's an if. It's a hope, but it's an if. If Christian Yelich comes back, then what? And then do you move on? One of these catchers has got to go, right? Eric Hayes would probably be the odd man out. Or do you keep Sanchez as your backup first baseman? I don't like that because I don't think Sanchez is a good first baseman, right? I mean, he can play first base, but he's not a great first baseman. So do you carry 3 catchers then? I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can afford to, right? You need to have roster spots open. You need to have infielders on the bench. You need to have outfielders on the bench. You can't afford to be carrying 3 catchers, it doesn't seem like. Now you can hope that maybe the rosters expand by then, and you could keep Hayes, and you could bring Yelich back, and everything's good on that end. It's going to be something to watch, but, I mean, I've loved what Eric Hayes has done with the Brewers. I loved what he did in spring training. I actually thought he was going to break camp with the team. Didn't end up breaking camp with the team because of the acquisition of Gary Sanchez there. So that is going to be one of my guys that is going to be interesting to see what they do with him moving forward. But another guy over the last 7 games who's been on a tear, who was a little bit cold there, Joey Ortiz. Over the last 7 games, 308 is the average there for Joey Ortiz. This is a guy who started out the year hot for the Brewers, kind of fell off. You look at his last 30 games, he's batting 212 over the last 30 games there. Over the last 15, 232, but 308 over the last 7 there. This Brewers team, I mean, we talked about the offense the other day, and they needed to step up. They definitely stepped up in this Braves series here, and it was the young guys. Chourio, Frelick, Mitchell, getting the job done. Contreras stepping up. Adames with a couple. He had 2 home runs the other night for the Brewers. Just, an all-around effort by this offense over the last week here against the Braves. That sets them up for a big weekend series. I always say big, but it seems like every series from here on out is going to be a big series. A big weekend series here with the Cincinnati Reds. So, as Autumn told me earlier here, we got Aaron Savali is scheduled for Friday for the Brewers there. Man, I wish they could find a way to get him out of that rotation. I really wish they could, but I don't know how to get him out. I really don't know how to get him out. He's going to have the Friday night start. Saturday looks like it's going to be Tobias Myers for the Brewers. And then Sunday, it looks like we have a to be decided right now. So Autumn's telling me DL Hall might be in that spot. I had another job for DL Hall. Now, I don't know if this is going to be what a lot of people want to hear, but we have a lefty in the bullpen right now who, I'm going to tell you this now, I don't trust him. That's Hobie Milner. I don't trust Milner. I don't. I've lost, I hate to say it because I like Hobie Milner. I do. I really wish he could find it. He hasn't found it. Early on this year, he was solid, right? Last season was solid. He can't find it. We keep throwing him out there. And, you look at the Brewers pitching lab and you look at like Colin Ray and it's like they figured him out. The Brewers know how to work with pitchers. Hobie Milner is one of those guys who it almost is like he needs a break right now. And DL Hall stepping into the bullpen, he's got some electric stuff. We've seen him with the Orioles touch up near triple digits. So we know he could throw the ball, right? Would putting him into a bullpen role bring that out of him? I wouldn't hate to see it, right? I don't know. The biggest thing with the Orioles was they did not know how far they could extend DL Hall. Could he go 3 innings? Could he go 4 innings? Could he even make it to 5, right? You put him in the bullpen in a Hobie Milner spot, have him pitch 2 innings, right? A long reliever, 2 innings. That's what Hobie Milner is to you right now. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But if you need, like we know, if they need that help in the starting rotation, you might have to throw him in there. But I'm just saying, I would not be opposed to the Brewers attempting to put DL Hall into the bullpen for that Hobie Milner spot. Because right now, I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. I don't. Autumn's over here shaking her head because she told me early on, she's like, this isn't the guy. This isn't the guy. I don't trust Hobie Milner. She'd always tell me. And then he'd get a save or something. I'd be like, see, he's fine. He's fine. Well, I'm flipping script now. I'm right with her. I don't know what to expect out of Hobie Milner. I don't know what to expect. It's like Yoel Payamps. I don't know what to expect out of Payamps. He's had a couple good outings, right? I'm not going to shoot him down right now because he had a couple good outings against the Braves. But Payamps has struggled this year. Milner has struggled. Thank goodness that Brian Hudson came in and just was pitching lights out. Trevor McGill has been good. Jared Koenig has been good. We've been able to find guys, that have been good. I just don't know with Hobie Milner. I really don't. He has struggled, and I would honestly be okay if we found another left-handed arm like DL Hall to fill that spot for the foreseeable future until maybe let's just throw him on the IL. Just, that's what they do. Guy gets roughed up, they throw him on the IL. Throw him on the IL, send him down to Arizona, let him try to figure it out, and then bring him back. We'll see if Hobie Milner's ready to go then. That's where I'm at right now, is I would not be opposed to seeing DL Hall end up in the bullpen in some way, shape, or form there. But with that, Autumn, we got anything else? We got anything else here to wrap it up for the day? Nothing. Autumn's telling me nothing. So it was a great show there. Like I always say, follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Wherever you find us out there, we're on there. Outside of that, if you're listening on iTunes, anything like that, be sure to subscribe, like, leave a review, everything. Go down in the bio of the show where it gives the description of the show. It says send us a text message. Click that. Send us a text message, it says, but it sends to our recording platform with your questions, with your comments, anything like that. Send it through. Let us know what you're thinking. But with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy your fantastic weekend. But with that, until we talk to you guys again on Monday, deuces.
my Lord, watch me sway. Darkness falls and we all pray, hoping for the light of day. Down to the river I have held the devil's hand, felt the weight of my own sin, burdened by the heart of man. Down to the river, down to the river.